This week, we're on the White Rim Road in Canyonlands National Park. Hey guys, how do we keep it dirty off-road? And this week we're driving and camping on the famous White Rim Road in Moab in Canyonlands National Park. The White Rim Road is a 90-mile dirt road that goes along the north rim of Canyonlands National Park. It starts on the east side along the Colorado River and ends on the west side along the Green River. The road gets its name due to the color of the stones you're driving on at the top of the cliffs. According to the park website, the road requires a vehicle with 4x4 with low range and high clearance. UTVs and ATVs are not allowed. We were able to do most of this road in two-wheel drive in our Raptors with only some sections needing four-wheel drive, mainly for safety. A permit is also required to drive on the road and to camp. Park Services only issues a limited amount of passes to the road. Only 50 vehicles are allowed per day. Park Service also does not allow large groups. Maximum group size allowed is 3 vehicles per. And the Park Service recommends that each of those 3 vehicle groups spaces out a minimum of 30 minutes. There is limited camping on the trail, and each camping spot requires a reservation and an overnight pass. They do get booked out quick, so you have to book out well in advance if you want to camp out. You just can't come the night before and expect to go. Also, since this is a national park, no log or charcoal fires are allowed. You must use propane, and it must be off the ground for all your cooking needs and to stay warm. Now, the road is not particularly difficult, but it's also not a fast trail either. It's a mix of sand, rocks, and lots of switchbacks. It is also rough in sections. You could technically rush through and do the whole trail in one day with the Raptor, but you will miss a lot of the beauty of this place, so highly recommend at least planning for 2 days here with at least 1 overnight camping to really take it all in and explore. But also keep in mind, this is basically a closed loop. Once you're in it, there's only 2 ways out. The way you came in and the exit at the end. There is no exit within the White Rim Road. You're surrounded by canyons and cliffs and mesas everywhere, and that's the only way in and out. Now for this trip, Brian and Mike did all the planning for this part of the trip, and they made the reservations a few months in advance. We picked up our passes the day before our scheduled date so that we could get an early start and immediately hit the trails. The ranger station / visitor center can get pretty busy in the mornings, and we wanted to hit the trails right off the bat. The entrance to the White Rim Road gave us our first taste of what was to come. The entrance is this crazy switchback road called Schaefer Canyon Road, and we stopped at this overlook to check it out. That's where we're going to be going, and it is wow. The views are crazy. Yeah, no.
No, you don't want to come over to this one?
No.
It feels pretty sturdy. Yeah, you only have to make a little jump. You can probably make the jump. Going back is scarier. You barely cleared it.
Like I said, that's not me. No, thank you. No fucking way.
I'll do it again. Yeah.
Dude, you're a psychopath. This is wild. We're gonna be going down there. It's crazy how cool this looks. And it's all nothing but switchbacks, and I'm afraid of heights. So this should be interesting. Schaefer Road descends 1,500 feet through colorful, massive sandstone cliffs. In some sections, you're literally driving on sandstone bridges. Now during the winter, like when we hit the road, parts of the road can ice over, making it even more sketchy. Did I remind you guys that I'm deathly afraid of heights? And this is one of the more tamer switchback trails here. It's just super tall, it's 1,500 feet. There would be more switchbacks to come, some that my truck barely fit on. Doesn't always pay to have a mid-travel truck. As you get into the steeper sections, there's also a ditch on the rock side, the rock face side, making the road even more narrow. And the ditch is pretty deep, and you don't want to end up in it. There is no driving out of it once you're in it, and you will need a recovery. We've seen plenty of folks get stuck in the ditches here on their way down because they were so scared. That wasn't too bad. It was sketchy.
A little. How many times did you back up?
2 times.
Yeah.
I had to. And 4-wheel drive, mid-travel, on a tight turn like that, don't work.
Even on the stock ones, it doesn't like to do it.
Once you get down to the bottom, your first stop is Gooseneck Overlook. There is a short hike to the overlook across a primitive trail. The trail itself is not actually well marked. You need to look for those little stacked rocks everywhere, and it's very easy to miss the trail. I was pretty beat from the Delicate Arch hike the night before, so I bailed on this one. But Mike and Brian got some cool shots of goosenecks on the Colorado River here. Colorado River Overlook is a little down the road, and it's another much better overlook. This one is better to me because you can drive your truck right up to the end of the canyon. No hiking required, so that was a big must. This is a beautiful spot. It is. Especially with all the red rock everywhere and the LaSalle's in the background. Yeah. There really is so much to see here. Around every corner, around every canyon is so different and beautiful. You're surrounded by views everywhere you look. It's hard to keep your eyes on the road. There's just so much to see. And we took it easy and just soaked it all in and stopped as much as we could to really enjoy this place because it's very beautiful. And one of those many stops was Muscle Man Arch. Mike and Brian, of course, walked on it. That's not for me. Again, did I mention that I'm deathly afraid of heights?
I don't know how you feel about these type of things, Helio, but for your channel,
Okay.
you may get the eco freaks that don't like him.
Dude, you really think eco freaks watch my channel?
Every now and then to criticize.
It's Raptors. I got nothing but fucking Trump pipes. Well off fucking white men watch my channel.
Yep.
Now this spot was just something else. You had this amazing arch there in front of us with the balanced rock in the distance and just the view of the canyons. I mean, beautiful.
All right, Brian. We need you to work it. Work it. You know, hip hop left to the side. Come on. There you go. Give me the fonts. Come on. Give me the fonts. Give me the fonts. All right. Now,
Oh, one more font.
think about having kids. Okay. Think about the next boat. Think about the next boat build and look out in the distance.
At about the midway point of the day, we got to an optional trail called Lathrop Canyon Road. I hope I said that right. That's where we're going. Wish me luck. This is one of the trails that I researched and actually wanted to take because it takes you down to the Colorado River. But I was a little concerned if I was actually going to fit. This is the only spot on the White Rim Road that takes you down to the Colorado, and it's kind of a doozy getting into it. 4x4 and high clearance is required just for that first section, but well worth it for the drive down to the wash, but also the view of the Colorado River at the bottom. Made it. All the way down to Colorado. It's so quiet here. The river's not even making any noise. The Colorado River was so calm and quiet here. It was so relaxing, and I really wish we could have spent more time here. The further we drove it on the trails, the more picturesque it kept getting. This one canyon just looked like it was winding canyons for miles. Another one had hoodoos and balanced rocks. Some had arches in them. At one point we hit this clearing and we were surrounded by massive buttes everywhere on this open field.
wrong way.
You also don't realize how sketchy the road really is until you're over the edge. Many of the cliff sections of the road are on these massive natural sandstone bridges. You're basically driving on sections that have 500-foot drop-offs to the ground below, and someday they will collapse.
No surviving any kind of falls around here.
It was not too long before the sun started to come down, and we had to hit the southernmost point of the trail in our campsite for the night, which was called White Crack. This day honestly passed by so quick, but here at White Crack you could see 360-degree views of Canyonlands. You can see Needles District there in the distance. We were also very close to the confluence of the Colorado and the Green River, but you could not actually see it from here, not unless you had a drone, and you can't drone. Mike and Brian also did that short kayak out to the very tip for sunset while I started to set up my tent for the night. The guys picked these great elevated spots with amazing views. I picked a little bit lower spot, but we got lucky. There was no wind that night, but if you do plan to stay here, wind could be a problem. There is no shelter from the wind here, so keep that in mind as you're picking your spots and your camp spots around Canyonlands. You could be in for a windy day. Now, the sunsets here were amazing. Need more good days like this on the trails. And this was also a great stargazing spot at night. There was no light bleed whatsoever.
Alright guys, gonna take it through my tent setup. I think I might have overdone it. I got a ton of space in here. These gazelle tents are much bigger than I expected. But yeah, it's gonna work. Oh, and I can stand up fully in this thing. And I got my little Mr. Buddy to keep warm.
Next day, we quickly packed up camp and got to the road again. We had a lot of miles to cover, and some of the most challenging parts of this trail were still to come. We stopped at a few more canyons along the way, and those bridges that I was talking about were getting bigger and bigger. And yeah, That's the road right on the edge, some of them. Did I mention I was scared of heights? Quick check of the Mickeys, they were faring really good on this trail despite how rocky and rough everything was everywhere. Now we got to one of the first obstacles, a steep, narrow climb called Murphy's Hogback. Brian went up first and he actually made it look easy in his stock Gen 1.
Found that bit again.
Damn it, man. I like the rear diff and try to climb it in two-wheel drive. Not gonna lie, this was kind of a nail biter for me because of the drop on my left and how narrow it was. My truck barely fit, and it's one of the few times that a wide mid-travel truck is not the best option.
That was definitely narrow for me, man. I'm like trying not to hit the wall because it's down or climb the wall.
But at the top of the climb, there's also another campground you can reserve. There's actually two of them. This looked like a cool spot as well. I bet the views from here were pretty epic.
My asshole hurts.
God damn it, Mike.
On the other side, you can really start to see where the White Rim Road got its name. After a few miles, the Green River started to come out in view right before we got to Potato Bottom, another popular camping spot because of its proximity to Green River. Again, views here were just epic. I mean, that's all I can say, is just views everywhere you went were epic.
I think we found the hard Scrabble.
Now next up was what I consider to be the sketchiest section of the whole road, an area called Hard Scrabble. The road here is narrow and its switchbacks are steep. It's also nothing but mud and slate everywhere. It looks like one big rainstorm can wash it all away. And the narrow road combined with the low overhangs of the shale had me a little freaked out. My truck barely fit and the limited turn radius sucked on the switchbacks. SPC trucks don't turn well, and backing down a switchback that's that steep sucks.
That was scary.
Yeah, that was a little rougher.
I'm glad I peed before I went up it. Big Travel Raft is definitely not the one to take through here. Well, you're doing okay on yours, all right? It's the hairpins that scare the shit out of me.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I have to back up on one of those, I may not get the traction to go back up it. That was, wow. Well, I'm glad we stopped here because I was sketchy. I'm surprised by how much grip this thing has in two-wheel drive with the rear lock.
Yeah, I did that without even the locker.
Oh, I had to. I was slipping like crazy on that little fucking turn.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. So I had to give it a little bit extra gas.
Yeah, well, you got through it, no problem.
My nerves didn't.
Those are
But
replaceable.
For me, the heights thing is just terrifying, dude.
I get it.
after this section, we stopped to have a late lunch. Perfect timing, to be honest, for some food and a little change of underwear. Why does every run de-evolve into a Nickelback song? Now here we were getting close to the end of the White Rim Road, but our plan was to take a set of bonus trails to check out a pair of buttes called Zeus and Moses. Our plan was to camp there and try and get a Milky Way shot of Zeus and Moses in the background. But Mother Nature kind of had other plans. First off, this campsite here was epic. The views were amazing. In this little valley surrounded by imposing canyon walls and everything, a Milky Way shot here would have been so awesome. Unfortunately, it started raining. Rain in the desert is never good. We knew there was going to be some rain in the forecast this day, and it was going to spoil our plans a bit, but we were hoping it was going to be nothing. This is the desert anyways, and most times rain never actually shows up in the desert. Of course, this day was different. Clouds got super dark, and right when we hit camp, it started to rain on us. Oh shit. Last time I did wet camping, I had to throw my tent away.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Because no matter what, you can't avoid getting all the mud and everything inside the tent.
Yeah.
And it's a nasty cleanup. It's not even worth it, especially with the cheap tent. And by the time I got home, it was moldy. It was gross.
I don't know. I definitely wanted to camp, but bad weather is not something I'm really a fan of. Like, look behind you, to the right. The canyon's closing up. It's starting to get cloudy over there too.
Oh shit! Look at that. And out here, you never know. It could be nothing, or it could be a pour. Do they close the trail when the weather gets bad?
I doubt it. The reason I say that is because I don't think they do much. I don't think the Rangers come out here all that often.
So we had a choice to make. We could set up camp, be stuck in tents all afternoon and at night, and possibly have a muddy mess on our hands. We also had no clue how strong the rain was going to be, and we still had a 15-foot climb out of the White Rim Road to get out. Trying to do that in the morning if the road froze would have been very dangerous. So I personally voted to get out of there. I've camped in the rain before and it sucks. Worse if the road becomes impassable. I know that Brian and Mike really wanted to stay, but they would not have gotten the shots that they wanted, and the mud would have sucked. We would have been stuck in one of our tents with no fire, and it could have been a miserable, wet, cold night in the middle of winter. So we quickly turned around and headed for the climb out. Beautiful out here when it rains, guys. It just gets dangerous. one note here. When we first started, the east exit of the road was blocked due to the large boulder fall. They had just cleared it the day we arrived on the White Rim Road. Lucky too, because if we would have gotten stuck in the rain and the rain was bad, we would have had to climb all the hard Scrabble, Hogback, Schaefer to get out, along with the 90 plus miles of damaged trails. Good thing we didn't have to do all that. But just when we started to hit the narrow section of the White Rim, around at the end, the rain picked up a little bit and the climb out was very slippery. Starting to come down pretty good. I don't think we could have got our tents up in time for this rain. I've camped in rain before, it sucks. Now, we gotta do that climb up that somewhere.
Hey, this section's pretty slick. Sorry, trying to defog my windshield. It got pretty foggy for some reason.
Were you guys heavy breathing in there?
Oh yeah.
At one point, we both had a little bit of trouble on one of the switchbacks where we were just losing traction, got really muddy, but we were both carrying enough momentum and we made it out through with only just a little bit of sledding. It was not too bad, and I think we got lucky. Once we hit the top, we were good and we were out of any danger. And good thing we did. It got cold that night, and when we went back to see the spot the next day, there were a few signs of ice and sun at about noon that would have been fun to try to climb. I don't like doing anything with ice. At the end of the day, I think we made the right call to call it early. Instead of a muddy cold night, we had a nice warm meal in Moab at a nice hotel. Now, we had a good laugh about it later too. By this point, we had only camped 2 nights out of the 4 we originally planned, and the consensus was we sucked at camping. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Next up, we do some bonus trails in Moab before heading up to Bryce Canyon in Zion National Park. Some more to come on our American Southwest trip. Please consider subscribing and put any questions or comments below, and thank you for watching.